It says I'm live. Welcome, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Make Shift Happen, the spiritual variety show where we talk about different things from A to Z, leaving no subjects left out of the mix as we go along and into this new beginning. So which every day is a new beginning, right? Every day is a new beginning. Every day can be a new beginning. And how many of us would like to have new beginnings, right? So as you come in, welcome, welcome, welcome. Come into this time for you to just take a deep breath. And release. And take another deep breath and hold it for a little bit. And release. Calming down our systems within us. Allowing our bodies to be at rest right now as we gather here today. For those of you that are new to me, I'm Tammy Lee. I am a magical shift maker and way shower. I do a lot of energy medicine work, helping to clear ancestors, the land, souls, helping them to go back home, helping us to heal on different levels, helping us to wake up to that magic within us, wake up to our sovereign sacred self, that our spirit, our essence desires us to live in. That's what we came here to do, darlings, is to live in that kind of quality beyond what we've ever been taught, most likely. So welcome. Grab your water, your tea, your coffee, whatever it might be. Sometimes we even have to grab a Kleenex. I'm so glad you're here with me today. One of the things I posted we have a private Facebook group called Ignite Your Joyful Heart. And my heart doesn't always feel joyful. That's the truth of it. And one of the things that I chose to do for this new year is pick a word that helps me, that helps to guide me. And, there's been a lot of different Facebook posts around Facebook saying, what's your word for 2022? And so I sat and thought about that. And I wanted to share with you today because when we really sit with and allow our spirit to guide us, our inner self to guide us, it's really remarkable. So, originally, and I posted this, I created a post here in our Facebook group, and originally I chose the word health. And I said I was going to share this because so I chose the word health. I turned 60 in May. And for those of you that don't know about my life, we live on a farm in Kansas. We have 5 children, their significant others, and we have 13 grandchildren. I want to be, but also this is about me. I want to be the most optimal health I can be by the time I turn 60. And continue that process, continue that work even beyond that. So I chose a word. I've seen these things before. Hi, Joanne, so glad you're here. I've done this before, but it never really stuck. This time it's sticking. So I chose the word health. And about, today's Wednesday. I think it was Monday, actually. No, it was Sunday. I was on a online chat with other ladies that are also talking about their health and how they can, really move forth in this 2022 and vibrant health. So as I'm talking with these ladies, and I say, oh yeah, my word's health, because I know I'm going to be working on that. And then I hear, okay, so some of my gifts is being able to hear messages. And I see things, I hear things, I can smell things at times, I can sense, like out of my peripheral, I can even see beings at times. Okay. So I'm sitting with these ladies on Sunday afternoon, and we're all online, and we're all talking about our word. And as soon as I said health, I can feel this, like this grabbing, like, no, Tammy, it's not health. You're already doing that. It's vulnerable. It's vulnerability. You are to be vulnerable. And I just like, yeah. And that word, ladies, would not let go. It was like there's something stronger. My essence, my spirit desires for me to be vulnerable. And that's honestly, since Sunday, I have been working through the fear of that. Now, I've been vulnerable to certain layers, apparently, but this will take me deeper. This will heal things that I don't even know are there yet, in the depths, within the caverns of my being. I don't have as much fear today talking to you about this as I did on Sunday, as I did on Monday, when I'm literally crying, sharing this with another little group of women. Like, not like crying, bawling, but there's tears just running down out of my eyes, down my cheeks. Because it's not just about vulnerable with you. It's vulnerable with myself. It's vulnerable with those other people that I have felt like I have had to have a protection from. Not from, how do I say this? There's certain people, even though you love them, but you might have a little guard up. See, it's going to show me where I have my guards up, where I have a guard up and not receiving. I had a session with a client yesterday, and she was talking about how she's going to be going to a funeral. She's like, and she still is processing the death of a family member, even though it's been a few months. And she said, oh yeah, I've got to put my walls up. And I'm like, no, we cannot put our walls up. Putting our walls up is not about protection. when we intentionally put a wall up, we keep ourselves from an experience. Let's just take a deep breath on that. Mm-hmm. When we put walls up, we keep ourselves from an experience. That she's going to go to a funeral. She doesn't want to cry in front of everybody. Like, we really talked this out. And you don't know when you allow yourself to feel, really feel how that can actually assist others to feel also. I remember when my grandmother, the light of my life, paternal grandmother, I truly feel she saved my life growing up. She was the one I felt loved by. I truly felt love from my grandmother. The only place I did growing up. When she passed, it took me probably 10 minutes or more to get out of the vehicle when we arrived for her funeral. I couldn't move. I couldn't get out. I was racked with pain. So finally I got myself settled down. Like, I was bawling like crazy. And my husband and I go into the funeral home. And I'm just raw and I'm open. And I allow. And with the energy that moved, there were good stories being told. There were funny stories being told. And I have a very unique laugh. And in those stories that were being told and my laugh coming out, because there's no walls up, right? I found out years later, I have a cousin, and she told me years later, Tammy, hearing your laugh helped me to get through Grandma's funeral. I had no clue. But this is one of the reasons why. Like, if you feel like you're putting up a wall because you think you want to protect yourself from showing emotion, from being vulnerable, from not allowing somebody else's energy to come in, that just means you're aware of that. You're aware of that. And when you allow yourself to drop your barriers, drop your walls, magic can happen. Magic can happen. That's one of the things. So I already started practicing this. Vulnerable. With new groups. With new, I shouldn't say new groups. With other women. When we gather. And I'm practicing this with my family too. You see, sometimes I can feel like there's judgment within our family, and not that it's intentional at all. But you energy workers out there, you can feel when somebody But it taught me that it's like, where do I judge? Like, holy shit, right? I thought I never judged. I'm like, oh, I don't judge people. And then I'm like catching myself. Oh my gosh, I'm judging that person. And I'm not making myself wrong about it. Okay? I'm not making myself wrong about it. I'm just aware. So it's not about making ourselves wrong, girls. It's about being aware. It's about, what is your word for 2022? And are you allowing that to work with you, move with you, play with you even, right? Play with you. So when I go walk the land now, hopefully I'll remember I'm going to be vulnerable. So what beings want to come forth? Like, what beings now want to come forth and hang with me, be with me, teach me, talk to me, let me see them, maybe even? Because Tammy will be in a vulnerable state. And just say, hey, like, I want to connect to you, but I don't know how. I just know there's that space in my heart that really wants to. Just as an example. How will you allow your word to walk with you this year? I like that. How will we allow our word that we've chosen to walk with us this year? You know, one of the things that I always felt like I had to, I'm 59. This is one of my biggest, how do I say this? One of the biggest things I still work with is thinking there's something within me like, oh my gosh, I'm 59. I should know this, or I should know that, or I should have more control over that, or more control over this, whatever that thing is, right? And one of them, kind of feels even, I can feel the emotion coming up. Like, one of them is my health. That, how do I say this? That, like, my weight has always been a constant struggle in this lifetime. My health on different levels. There's been constant struggles in this lifetime in regards to my health. And it's like I know this here. It's like I can't figure it out all the way. But I'm 59. I should figure it out, right? Well, eat this and don't eat that is what we hear, right? So that's why originally I chose health for 2022. It's because I really desire to figure out not just to figure out, but to be in communion with my body. To know the ins and outs of it. That's why, just posting in our Facebook group about this hormone reset with this lady, Robin. Like, I finally found. So the last 20 years, 40, 60, 39, 40, the last 20 years, I have searched for the right person, the right doctor, the right whomever for this thing or that thing, and some of them help, some of them, or I've signed up for this or that, and I never follow through. And I'm learning because this lady, Robin, she tells things in a way that I've never heard before. She shares things in regards to hormones. Out of all the people I have worked with, paid, dealt with, listened to, this lady Robin, like, wow, she's a master at what she does. She's a master. I finally found that person. And she's having another hormone reset in next week. And I said yes. And I've been sharing that in our Facebook group. But it's like being vulnerable because I don't have that part altogether. I don't. And it doesn't always feel good to admit things like that, right? And like thinking we should have everything together, and the older we get, I don't know. I'm thinking the older we get, the more we'll think we should have it together, but not having it together, right? So one of the things that, so I'm sharing that in our Facebook group and on my Emerald Compass page and inviting women to come and join us because I am learning things that I never knew because she is incredible and she goes in between what the norm out there is. Oh, well, yeah, stress causes cortisol release. Okay, everybody talks about that. So what are you going to do about it? Like, tell me how to fix it. How do you just reduce stress in your life? Well, there's more to it than that. There's more to it than that. I remember when I was going through menopause and I went to go see a functional doctor up in Lawrence, Kansas, which that's like almost a 3-hour drive from where I live. But I would go to him every month, sometimes every 3 weeks, because my body was doing things I did not understand. I didn't even know I was perimenopausal then. But because of being with him helped me to not go off the deep end with certain parts of my body. And I got through menopause with so much grace because he too was an expert. Was it an investment? Sure it was. But it was that time. I am so glad I found him because I could talk to him about things that I did. Nobody else, any other doctor I would go to, like I went to one of my doctors here, like in my late 30s. And you know what he did? Here's a pill. Just start taking these pills. And it was a antidepressant pill. I'm like, I've heard enough stuff about them. Like, I would be an addiction runs in our family. There's no way I still took the pills from him and I threw them away when I got home. And then I found me a different doctor. Nobody, because he didn't listen. So I'm sharing this with you today about, what is your word for 2022? Hi, Carol. So glad you joined us. And why I've been sharing about this woman, Robin, and her reset, her hormone reset, because most of you that know me, most of you that have known me know that I do energy work. And there is a lot. Some of you have even worked with me one-on-one. And there's a lot we can clear. There's a lot we can heal. Yet I knew there was a missing link within me. And I knew it's been about hormones. I just never could find that right person that could help guide me. That was truth. Even when I was on her first reset. This is hilarious. And I told her this. I told Robin this later. Because she had a 15-day reset in the fall. And I was I was a part of that. And I was studying her energy, and yeah, the information was really good. I'm like, oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. But I still study energy in people. And then she said something one day, and just boom. I'm like, oh, this woman's solid. Nobody's gonna take her off her um off her pillar. However you want to say that. You understand what I'm saying? She's solid. She knows her stuff. She has healed herself. And she's incredible. And I want to know about this. I want to know about my body. I want to, there's a really good book called Summer with the Leprechaun. If you haven't read this, I highly encourage you to read this. And it even talks about a body elemental. And I've been working with connecting with my body elemental. But it's still kind of like out here instead of in here. So there's still work for me to do. And I don't know if working with on my body, like, so now my body elemental will know, like, hey girl, she's serious. Let's come closer and closer and closer. Carol, that'd be a really great book for both you and your mom and even your sister to read. It's awesome. So, but anyway, that's part of the reason why I'm sharing about this hormone reset that's happening next week. Because even though we do energy work, even though we clear and we heal on all these levels, we still have to take care of our physicality. Am I the best at it? No. I will admit that right off. Do I want to be better? Yes. Yes. Summer with the Leprechaun. I'm sure that's what it is. I can post it later in the group. It's a green book. And this lady goes to Ireland and has this real life experience with leprechauns. Let me know if you can't find it, Carol. But again, I'll post it in the group later. Okay, so choosing your word, allowing it to work with you, allowing your spirit. That's why I've been kind of asking some of you that have 3 words, have more than 1 word. Okay, what's the number 1 word that out of your 3, out of your 2, out of your 4? What's that number 1? And will you allow it to walk with you this year? Like somebody said joy. So like joy is act like it's a being. Okay, joy. What do you want to do today? How can we create more joy in my life? Me, it went from health to vulnerable. Okay, vulnerability. Whoo, yeah, I can feel that. Where do you think I should be vulnerable? Where do you think? Show me. Show me. Where where is it I'm not being vulnerable that I should be? That will open me up to more. So we're actually also asking our essence at the same time. Essence. That essence within us. Our pure light, our purity, our essence of who we are. Ask it to help guide you. talk with it. Wow. You're asking me to be vulnerable? I can feel a sweat breaking out right now. See, it still has that. It's shifting things within me, I guess you could say. It's opening up my cells on different levels. So allow your word to walk with you, to be with you, to hang out with you, talk with it. And I'd love to know how you choosing a word has actually catapulted your life. In this book, Summer with the Leprechaun, there's different things I've learned in there too, and how to be more. And I'm the kind of person that if I'm not always on it, I forget about it. So I need to have that reference by me. Or I'll lay the book down and then I forget where I laid it. So, but there's also, once you read it, like it even guides you and the different things you can do to help create more in your life. And I'm just getting this, like, thank you for letting me share that, because it's showing me also that this woman, imagine how vulnerable she was to write this book that is a true life experience about being with leprechauns. It reminds me actually of my grandmother that I was already talking about. So my dad is her oldest child. And my grandmother passed away, okay, Jenna, I gotta think here, 35 years ago. Wow, that's been a long time. And my grandmother passed away. But my dad is her oldest child, so he's 80. So think about this. 80 years ago, my grandmother's a single mother. She's pregnant. 80 years ago. What ridicule she may have endured, what judgment she may have endured for being a single mother, for being a single woman pregnant with a baby. Back in those days, wow. Why am I telling you this? Because our word that we chose can also bring us strength. Strength to carry on. So when something goes awry in your life, when an experience comes up that doesn't feel too good, Carol, I'm going to just choose you for a moment because you said you chose joy. We could also use that as, okay, Joy, how can you be with me in this moment? Maybe there's not even an inkling, but if we don't ask, we don't know. I'll share with you that one of the biggest things in my marriage that Tim and I we still work on is talking about money. And I can hear myself. How can I be more vulnerable around discussion of money? And I know that comes from other lifetimes. because I get all cringy inside when I have to, like, okay, well, I need money for this or money for when it's a big amount. There's not a confident thing within me. Like, there's some, but it's not like, oh yeah, okay, point blank. Just letting you know, I'm still working on that too. Like, I was figuring the checkbook this morning, and there's like a $3,000 I can $3,000 I can't find. I'm like, and I'm thinking it's me, and I'm like, gotta figure this out. Gotta figure. I don't want to tell him there's a $3,000 mistake, and and I found it. He didn't write something in, and I'm like, whew, whew, it wasn't me, because I felt like I was gonna have a wrath coming at me. I'm like, okay, so how can I be vulnerable in this moment and let him know I'm really scared to? And I did. I was like, well, I could have said it a different way, but I did let him know that I was really glad it was him and not me, because I get really scared to talk to him about things like that. And it's usually around money. But that came from my childhood and beyond that, because there is a poverty consciousness in this area. And I must have grew up with it too, because it runs havoc in the German community here and amongst farmers. And both my parents grew up in very poor families. And I grew up thinking, in this lifetime, my worth was tied to the dollar. Because if you look like you have money, you're cool. You're accepted. My dad would now love me. That actually is what got me to, and I didn't know it at the time, but in 2004 to 2008, I had a very successful real estate investment company with 3 other women. I didn't know until after that went bust, when the real estate market went bust in 2008, and then all this crumbling came down on me and my other partners too. But working through all that, I'm like, holy shit. The deeper, deeper, deeper reason that I did that, yes, I enjoyed it. Yes, I had fun. Yes, I met a lot of people. Yes, I traveled. But the bottom line was, I did that to finally, because I dug deep into that. Now my dad will love me. Now my husband will love me. That was the underlying reason that I was not aware of why. And it's not my path. That's not what my soul came here to do. And I was just sharing with somebody, gosh, I wonder who that was, that Tim and I are still paying on, like, we had 2 more years that we're still paying on a loan from that experience back in 2008. Is I did everything I could not to go bankrupt. That was not an option. So we ended up, for one of the deals that I had to pay restitution to well, it's a big long story, but anyway, we had to borrow money to make a settlement on a settlement agreement. Right? Right. So allow your word to open you up in ways that you may not be able to imagine right now. and see where it will take you. And if you can't get right to it, maybe there's other words that help you in the stepping stone process of getting to it. For instance, with joy, Carol, maybe there's something that can help you put a smile on your face. Like if something like, ugh, grabs you, ugh. Okay. Maybe there's something else, when you start talking to Joy and say, okay, Joy, how can you work with me right now? You're my chosen word for the year. Maybe you'll see a color that brightens you up. Maybe you'll hear a song play that brightens you up. You might not be completely in joy, be in joy. However, there's stepping stones to get there. Sometimes it's not like a one and done. As long as we notice this, ladies, as long as we notice and don't make ourselves wrong, because I'm just thinking about, okay, if I want to approach a subject and I'm like, ugh, I want to be vulnerable. Don't know how to get there. And maybe it's just, there's going to be a step maybe, and then another step, and then another step. Sometimes that's just how we work with it. There's no wrong or right, good or bad. You are perfect right now, how you are. Accepting ourselves and also being aware of ourselves, of where we're at. That's a huge, huge thing. That's huge. That alone can help things to slough away, can help your energy to rise, and can help you to walk in life with a lot less baggage. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for being here today. Let me know how I can support you further. Let's keep this conversation going on inside our Facebook group so we can encourage other women to step forth in their own greatness. Cheers, everyone.